I'd like to call this meeting to order. We will start by doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Stanforth, may we have a roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Hairston?
Present.
Mr. Williamson?
Present.
Mr. Corrado? Ms. Hurd?
Present.
Mr. Hoagie?
Present.
Ms. Howard?
Present.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Here.
Ms. Matthew Stinson?
Present.
And Ms. Rebecca Sir.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I can now say that we have a quorum for our meeting. At this point, we'll now approve the agenda. You've received a copy of the agenda. Are there any changes or corrections that you'd like to make to the agenda at this time? Hearing none, the agenda is accepted as presented. And now for the approval of February 4th board meeting minutes. The minutes of the meeting of February 4th were presented for review to all board members prior to today's meeting. Unless there is any board member who requests a reading of the minutes, I will ask if there are any corrections or additions to the minutes as presented. Having heard no requests for a reading of the minutes nor any corrections or additions, the minutes stand approved as presented. And we'll go now to committee reports. Mr. Lumpkin.
Thank you, Madam President. Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on February 18th, and as a result, the committee is recommending 3 action items for the board's consideration. Action item number 2, miscellaneous overhead infrastructure parts, Sinclair and Washington locations. The purpose of this procurement is to obtain the overhead infrastructure parts for the Greater Dayton RTA. The miscellaneous overhead parts will be utilized for upcoming RTA infrastructure projects that will include a rebuild of Washington Street from Jefferson to Perry Street. The City of Dayton and RTA are replacing all the poles in this area, and the RTA will replace the infrastructure needed to accommodate the new street alignment. The Sinclair project is associated with the college's project to rebuild 4th and 5th Streets from Perry Street to Robert Drive. Sinclair Community College decided to do its own project instead of the City of Dayton. Sinclair has installed new poles for the street lighting as well as the RTA trolley infrastructure. There is a new alignment for the road, resulting in the need for the RTA to replace this infrastructure as well. This procurement is consistent with the RTA's core values of safety, stewardship, and quality of service as we demonstrate our commitment to maintain and invest in our fleet and make our customers a priority. Mr. Rosinski provided a detailed explanation at the committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in the packet. Yes, Bob is available for anyone that has any questions that they may have at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendation of the committee, I move that the Board of Trustees award contracts to Phoenix Mining in the amount of $149,639 and AFL Telecommunications LLC in the amount of $111,499 for a grand total of $261,138. This procurement will be funded with partial federal grant funds.
I'll second that.
It has been properly moved and second that action item number 2 be accepted. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions? Motion carries. Action item number 2, miscellaneous overhead infrastructure parts, Sinclair, Washington locations, has been approved.
Action item number 3, radio user fees. The purpose of this procurement is for RTA to award a sole source contract to the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office for radio user fees to access the Ohio Marks P25 800 MHz digital radio system. This system is the federal standard that allows interoperability between federal, state, and local public agencies so that they may communicate with one another in emergency situations. This contract is necessary for the RTA fleet to have radio service while operating the buses. The service ensures radio communication between dispatch operators, supervisors, and staff. The procurement for the radio user fleet is being brought to the board at this time because it supports RTA's core value of safety and quality of service for our customers. The price is based on the cost per month. The fixed cost is $20 per user per month, which equals $240 per user per year. Currently, there are 420 radios within RTA radio system. This procurement is based on a 450 radio users to allow for increases in the RTA user group. Therefore, the total cost would be $216,000 for a 2-year period. These ongoing costs were reported, approved, and subsequently budgeted during the onset of the RTA's agency-wide ITS technology project, which began in 2014. Since this is the sole source, the cost analysis was conducted to determine if the pricing proposed by the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is fair and reasonable based on past history for the service and current rates paid by other users. It was found so. Mr. Brown provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and supporting information is included in the packet today. Mr. Brown is available for any questions the board may have at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendations of the committee, I move that the Board of Trustees approve a contract award to Montgomery County Sheriff's Office for the radio user fees for a total of up to $216,000 for a 2-year period. Actual costs may vary based on the number of radios covered. This procurement will be funded with operating funds.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and second that action item number 3 be approved. Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions? Motion carries. Action item number 3, radio users' fees, is approved.
Action item number 4, evaluation of a public employee. The 2019 performance evaluation of Mr. Mark Donahue, Chief Executive Officer of the Greater Dayton RTA, has been reviewed by the Board of Trustees. On items completely within his control, he has been rated as exceeds expectations. On strategic goals and objectives that are achieved through his leadership of others, the board has rated him as meeting, but rarely exceeding expectations. The sample motion at this time would be, as a result, we move that the board approve a salary increase for Mr. Donahue for 2.5% effective January 1st, 2020, resulting in a new salary in the amount of $228,254.
I'll second that.
It has been properly moved and second that action item number 4 be approved. Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions? Motion carries. Action item number 4, evaluation of a public employee, is approved.
Additional items to mention: preliminary December 2019 financial statement. At our meeting, Mr. Rosinski reported the year-to-date December 2019 pre-local capital gain is $176,207. From that amount, we deduct the year-to-date December 2019 local capital charge of $2,990,821, which results in an RTA service loss of $2,814,614. Audit and Governmental Accounting Standards Board of Adjustments were reviewed, providing committee members with a snapshot of what the audited 2019 financial statement will look like. When comparing the 2018 results, the year-to-date change loss is mostly attributed to the elimination of state transitional aid for 2019. Looking forward to the committees will continue to address the growing operating loss trend while considering options to improve RTA's overall financial health. The November 2019 sales tax update. At the meeting, Ms. Stanforth reported the year-to-date 2019 sales receipts equal $36.17 million. In comparison, year-to-date November 2018 receipts equal $34.44 million. Gains are mostly attributed to the streamlined sales and use tax, which is related to the new tax withholding laws for out-of-state sellers and includes internet sales transactions. As we continue to lift up, when comparing to sales tax revenue of 2017 and previous years, funding is off by about $4 million as a result of the loss of Medicaid managed care tax. And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Lumpkin. We'll move now to the Planning Committee report. Ms. Howard.
Thank you. The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on February 18th, and while we do not have any action items to bring before you, we do have important updates to provide. At the committee meeting, Mr. Brandon Polachicchio provided a summary document of recent activities in the Customer and Business Development Department. RTA celebrated Ohio Loves Transit Day on February 14th, and the RTA used the day to promote its services and reward customers for using the transit app. As part of the statewide initiative, RTA shared customer stories about how transit improves their lives and how RTA is using new state funding to provide better service. In Dayton, over 160 customers were able to ride free on February 14th after showing their driver that they downloaded and were using the transit app. This past month, the RTA communications team accepted and took home a first-place award in the American Public Transportation Association's 2020 annual Ad Wheels Awards competition for its work on printed materials in support of the flyer. I'm Vanna White. Okay. This included the bus wrap signs, selfie boards, and more. The goal of the Ad Wheel Awards is to recognize the marketing and communication efforts of American Public Transportation Association's members and to create a structure to share best practices and raise the awareness of the value of public transportation marketing professionals within the industry. Beginning in January, RTA began making it easier than ever for its paratransit customers to schedule and manage their rides with the launch of RTA's new online reservation system, Connect Online. Outreach to date for Connect Online has included in-person educational sessions with over 20 customer groups at area hospitals and senior centers who use RTA paratransit services. Since launching, over 80 customers have signed up and scheduled more than 900 trips. To ensure access for all who choose to use their right to vote, the RTA will once again provide free rides system-wide on Election Day, Tuesday, March 17. The RTA understands the necessity for reliable transportation to fulfill this right. Free rides will apply to both RTA's fixed route and paratransit services. This concludes my report, Madam President, and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. We'll move on now to the Chief Executive Officer's report, Mr. Donahue.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few informational items. I'm sure you don't want to hear coronavirus one more time this week.
I don't.
I'm sure you don't. Or hear from me again. But just so you know, our team has been working to do what we can. Last week we were scrambling to try and on a preventive basis, procure some things. We had moderate luck at that, not nearly enough as we had hoped to. We're also working on looking for ways to step up our disinfectant efforts, especially on the vehicles and in our facilities that we do. We already have a pretty good program, but we're looking for ways to step that up. And we're looking to our friends at the state level, and I'll be on a webinar on Thursday at the national level to see what resources are going to be made available at that level to help us. So we're trying to get out ahead. We hope we don't need it. I would hope it would be one of these things that we're very well prepared for a minor event. That would be great if it happens, but we are working hard on it at every level of the organization. I imagine you've seen a lot of Next Gens. Dr. Dave Ponence I was sitting with him at Rotary yesterday, and he was just peppering me with questions about that bus because he had seen some out there. Things are moving along really well. There are 16 now available for service. You'll see them all day, every day on routes 4 and 8, and things are going really well. As with any new piece of equipment, there will be some things pop up. These buses in particular are very protective of themselves. So when we get a little ice on the wires, they're a little sensitive to that. That's a project we're working on now in terms of programming and other methods that may entail just focusing on keeping the wires free of ice. But this bus wants to protect its components, and at some point it likes to just say, I'm going to shut down for a little bit until you make my world better. And we're not used to having buses that are that intelligent, so that's something we're working through, and we'll get through it. I definitely want to credit Chris, Darren Brown, and Roland Caldwell, all their teams combined. They're doing a great job getting this thing out. It's been a long time coming, but now it's becoming more and more of a daily event to see the buses, especially right now. We've got no wire detours on both of those routes, and the bus is performing exactly as it was designed, which is really great to see, so we're really thrilled about that. Sharon talked about Ohio Loves Transit Day. A few days before we loved it, we went to Columbus to try and sell it with a team not only from our community but from all over the state of Ohio with our state association. We had great visits with all our elected representatives, both our senators, and even John Husted, who stumbled through the State House at our reception event that night, and I got him to stick around for a couple of pictures, which was great. So like it or not, he's now a transit supporter, which is good. So we had a lot of fun, and I definitely want to credit Brandon, Jessica Olson. She's been doing a lot of work as chairing the marketing committee of our state association, and Nikki Miller, who helped arrange a lot of the visits. So it was a team effort. We spent the entire day there, and trust me, it was well worth it. One final note, I just mentioned the ad wheel is a great thing. Those are few and far between. It's been about 9 years since we won one of those awards. Who knew it would be the flyer that that would win the award? And we're very proud of our team for putting all that together. And the flyer has become the best problem I think we've ever created, because everywhere we go, everybody wants a flyer, or they want to drag the flyer a little closer to their origin or destination. And in the business, that's what we call a good problem. So that's something you'll see a little more flyer-like. This is yes, I'm doing a little tease. In the system redesign, you'll see some flyer-like proposals in the system redesign when that comes out very soon in the near future. And with that, that's all I have to report unless there are questions.
Yes, how many Scoders do we still have out there?
How many Skodas?
Yes.
We have about 10 on the property. None are in service.
Oh, that's,
So we may roll a couple out when the weather breaks and actually run them in service alongside some of the new stuff for a photo event. But technically, they've been retired. They're all parked away, and the 9803 is sitting in the front of one of the lines. That'll be the one that will go to the Czech Republic. I signed the documents. They're going back and forth to the museum, and that'll probably happen in the next 90 days, I would guess. We'll do an event to send the bus off, but they're technically in retirement at this point.
also forgive me for using the word coronavirus, but have we seen a change in our ridership as a result of the coronavirus scare that's out there?
I don't think we've seen a blip at all at this point. So.
Thank you.
Real busy downstairs in the last week. So.
Thank you. If that's it for questions, we'll move on to old business, which I don't have any on my agenda, nor do I have new business, unless someone else does. Which brings us to public comment time. At this time, we will do public comments. Anyone wishing to address the board must speak on their own behalf. After being recognized to speak, you must come to the podium, or if physically unable, a handheld microphone will be brought to you. State your name and address, and after doing so, you will have 3 minutes to make your comments. When 30 seconds remain, a yellow light will come on, and when 3 minutes are up, you must cease speaking, leave the podium, or surrender the microphone. The first person I have scheduled to speak is Gary Rice.
Hello, thank you. Gary Rice, my address is 1104 Catalpa Avenue in Dayton, Ohio. I'm here to address an inconsistency with the bus I catch on Salem Avenue being on time for over a month, the very first bus of the day. It's supposed to be at Salem and Riverview at 4:43 and up to Salem and Hillcrest where I get off to be at work at 5. It gets me touchy to being late every day. And that's with the current driver. The driver before then, when they had the prior picks, they were able to get me there on time. But this new driver, he picked up the trolley bus, and because of all the action he has to take, he don't seem to take a sense of urgency. And that's the issue I knew I had to come address. I wanted to bring that before you all, because if not, it would just drag on. And he kind of started mentioning the thing about putting a lot of them on the diesel buses.
Have you brought that, did you call and complain to the,
I have trouble
Agency.
getting through to the complaint line.
okay, then we'll have someone get with you.
Gary, is that the number 8?
Yes.
Okay, but we'll,
The Route 8 at 4:43 Salem and Riverview to arrive at 4:50 Salem and Hillcrest.
we'll get you with the operations folks here before you go. How's that?
Thanks.
You bet.
Thank you. The next person scheduled to speak is Sonia Johnson.
Sonia Johnson, 1093 Sunshine Court, Dayton, Ohio. I had got on the bus, the small white bus, and I made a complaint to Ronald Coldwater. Is he here? Roland Coldwater.
Roland.
Okay. I came here to have an appointment with you, and you didn't show up. Do you remember that? You didn't get back with me. One of my secretaries sent you a letter. Okay, okay. I was, and then Travis and Alex, I had been arrested by my telephone. I got the voicemail on my phone. I don't believe that's a part of RTA's business about me going to the doctor. I've been addressed with bed bugs. I want to know who put it out there. These are the questions I want to know, because I had the right. I had the right to know who's telling this stuff on me. I had called and called and called and called and called, and no answer. So today is March the 3rd. Can anyone guarantee me that I will be able to be addressed with this, why I'm being accused of being bed bugs?
Well, I can't say we can answer that because I'm
But-
not aware of that.
Okay, well, today, March the 3rd, everybody in here know, right? Now, the man named Travis got on the bus, and he stood in my face and looked me up and down and said, "You got bed bugs." You don't talk to me like that. I wouldn't do nobody like that. I think it should be addressed a little bit better than that, because I don't have bed bugs. And I don't think nobody should be, well, said that they got it unless I had some bed bugs. I'm here to see if I can get some answers to why these people is calling my phone. Before I leave here today, I want somebody to hear that voicemail. Is Alex here today? He's supposed to be a
not familiar
supervisor.
Alex, he's a morning
Okay,
dispatcher.
okay. He called my phone.
Okay.
He left that message on my phone. I want to know why.
Well, we'll have to ask Alex that or listen to your message.
Yes. I would
Roland's here, and so is the entire team from transportation, so they can talk to you and get more details.
Okay, this is my second time here, but I never got a chance to speak. This is my first time ever coming to something like this. Because, see, I know Jesus paid the price for me. Martin Luther King took a bullet, and for that man to tell me to get out that bus that day, I don't think I could have did it. So, right now, I'm going to go back over and sit down, and I appreciate y'all listening to me.
After the meeting, Roland will get with you.
I hope so.
Okay. The next person I have for public comment is Althea Asadula.
There, there's a microphone. You can stand right there. Althea Asadula. The first thing I want to bring up is customer service script is not being consistent. All customer service do not say the same thing and should be required to say the same comments. 10 minutes before, 20 minutes after. Please eliminate the estimated time because it's confusing those who have disability mentally and physically. Therefore, we cut down on no-show times because we are thinking estimated time arrival, and even though it says subject to change, are not being comprehended by several people I write with. Next, after that, I was on the bus and the manifest went out. She called and told dispatch the manifest ran out. Well, of course, the manifest did not reload. Halfway to our destination, they tell her, and I was supposed to be at 9:30, and at 9:30 to turn around and go pick up a 9:20 on the east side of town. I was supposed to be dropped off at the west side of town. I had to wait for her to pick him up, and we didn't get to my destination until 10. Then I said, well, what are we going to do about this situation? We put you on a wheel call, Miss Asadilla. Wheel call? I was supposed to be picked up at 10:30. Then when I did call back, they're going to tell me, oh, we can't come get you to 12. That's not efficient for me because I have easy issues because I write Project Mobility for a reason. I made my adjustments because if you have a doctor's appointment, which also should be emphasized, if you ask for a 4 o'clock pickup, you need to remind us 10 minutes before that pickup, 20 minutes after that pickup. I was on a bus with a person who had a pickup at 3:30 at the same time a person had a pickup at 4. He got off that bus at 3:40 when he should not interrupted that person at 4 until 3:50. He kept getting off until 3:55. Of course, she wasn't ready to 3:56. But I said, should he have left? No. Why? He had her agitated because she said, y'all did this to me last week. It's not fair. Now, I know if you don't set a time to go home, that y'all can keep us up on that bus until the circularization of the bus stop from that place to our house, which is almost an hour and a half. If it goes past an hour and a half, then it's an issue. I can report it. Because there's things that are wrong with our body that we cannot maintain those issues that are needed to maintain because you can't stop to let us go to the restroom because that's not what y'all want us to do. You want us to take time out and do the things we need to do to make sure that our shared writing is appropriate for everybody else. And that's not being done. The manifest is a computer. It's not a human. It makes mistakes.
Your time is up, Ms. Astabulas.
That was a long one, so I think what we should do is get the,
Yeah, we need
we
to
can have
have,
Connor and Sally talk to this young lady after the meeting. They're the ones that run that part of the business. This is the first I've heard of that complaint.
thank you, Ms. Ashabula. Someone will get with you after the meeting. At this point, we're at board announcements or comments. I'll start to my right, Ms. Hurd.
No comment.
Ms. Okay.
Likewise, no comments.
Nothing.
Nothing for me today.
Okay.
I have nothing in.
Sharon.
I would like to say that I serve on the University of Dayton's National Alumni Board, and we had our winter meetings over the weekend, and we always try to make available things that are happening at the university that these folks from all over the country don't have access to. So Saturday, we as a group got to tour the arcade. And so what we decided to do is we marched all the board members down to Brown Street, and we took the flyer downtown, and then took the flyer to dinner, and then took the flyer back to campus, and they loved it. So they were on, the UD staff was on the app. They figured out what time the flyer was coming. Everything was smooth. So it was a great opportunity to share with people who don't naturally live here.
Great, thank you. And I would just like to compliment and commend again the agency on winning the Ad Wheels Award. I think that's a very good, and I think Mark said it's been 9 years since we've made that accomplishment, and I'd like to just say congratulations again, and another opportunity to make the agency shine. And the next thing on the agenda is a request for executive session, and I'm not aware of the need for one. So at this time, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and second to adjourn, so let it be.